Alright, what is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Methos Kushranada from the channel Frost and Fist, and welcome to this video. This week, guys, it's going to be a simple paint and chat, because my brother Freak is stuck at work, unfortunately. Well, he's on his way home now, but he's been stuck at work literally all day, and, sorry about that. And, yeah, so... unfortunately has not been able to make it home in time for the show, so you're stuck with your wolf brother. I hope you guys don't mind. Also, on top of that, I've actually got an emergency going on at my workplace as well, so I've been kind of touch and go on the phone, so hopefully I don't have to nip away, but, you know, as unprofessional as it might be, I might have to answer the phone at some point during this with the emergency and whatnot, and then you know, if things like get bad, I may have to actually go in, but hopefully everything's okay. Hoping for the best right now, and unfortunately there's very little I can do on my end right at this moment regarding the emergency at work, so I'm going to carry on, and, you know, hopefully you know, things aren't so bad, and, you know, we just do the best we can, right? So what did you do for your Weirdboy? Now, I mean, this is just a stand-in, really. This is not really any conversion or anything like that. But I just really love the way the Warchanter model looks. And, I mean, to me, he's got these totems here to be his lucky stick. And I just feel like that could be a really good stand-in for a Weirdboy. They use the same size base, so, you know, it meets the WYSIWYG kind of guidance. And, you know, being that I can use this little... totem sticks here as the, you know, the Weirdboy staff. I think it'll work okay. He doesn't have the little grot hanging on him, but I think it'll still be fine. No fevers. Just so my wife's had a light cough, and I've had a lot of drainage. So you know, with the allergies going crazy here, both of us are kind of feeling the effects of, you know, I'm sure you guys have probably seen in the news, the dust coming over the ocean and stuff like that. Every time around this year, you know, we just start feeling a lot of allergies in our throat. So, but yeah, we're okay. So, checking in the chat, we have the lovely Lady Dragon Creation says, "Evening, my lovelies." My brother Dazrock says, "Oi there, folks." Gamecraft Dragon says, "Yo." And Mini Warmutt says, "Hey, sexy beast. What up, baby? Good to see you, my brother." Yeah, my heart's broken too. I know we all wish that Freak could be here, and, you know, the show is always better when Freak is nearby. But I definitely feel for him. He's had a long, hard day at work, and the man definitely deserves a chance to be able to get some rest in. Yes, I definitely feel like this is a nice, big, beefy orc, and I think this is going to be such a cool Weirdboy. G'day, Weather Pig. Good to see you, my man. Great live stream last night. Oh, of course, you know, I'm the same way. Anytime I hear anybody cough in public, I'm like, I always, you know, give the look, like, is this the person? Especially, and I'm not going to go into it too much, because this is our happy place, right? But they did put out over the phones and stuff like that, saying that our county was at a red alert kind of level because of, you know, the number of infected cases has risen really quickly today, and so they did a kind of you know, like the way your phone goes off for an Amber Alert, they did the same thing here, saying, you know, shelter in place, stay indoors, you know, don't go out if you don't have to. They also closed down the bars and reduced restaurants to 50% capacity. So, anyways, we're not going to dwell on that. You know, we want to focus on the positive, and we're going to go into the show. So, of course, you guys know. Yeah, and you know what? I want to highlight that. I don't know how often he's going to be doing them, but Weather Pig Model Painting had a really, really great live chat, and he was on for hours yesterday, it seemed like, because I had to step away at one point. You know, the family and I went and sat down for dinner, but I kept the show on, so I was kind of watching, if not, you know, completely listening. And, I mean, he was going for quite a while. He had a really good show. He talked about a multitude of topics. Once or twice we had a difference of opinions, but you know that he's always very tactful. You know, he never says anything intentionally hurtful or anything like that. So he is definitely a person that you can debate with and not have to worry that you're going to get, you know, one of you two are going to walk away upset. Weather Pig has his opinions, but he's always very tactful about it. So I mean, really good live chat. He talked about a multitude of things from, painting over gaming, and where he would start if he did get back into wargaming, and he talked a lot of, he talked about Gundam, and he just talked about a nice variety. And of course, that's one of the things you can really expect from the Weather Pig Model Paintings channel, is that you are going to get a beautiful amount of variety while you're on his show. Last night he was painting up orcs for Lord of the Rings, which is going to be the game that he's definitely chosen to get back into wargaming with. He's going to play some Lord of the Rings, and so he was painting up some Lord of the Ring orcs. But he still also has recently painted up a 40K orc. I think it was a battle wagon. I want to say it wasn't just a truck. I want to say it was a battle wagon. I could be wrong, though. It was an orc vehicle of some description. But he painted it in some very, very unique colors that were, it was like a reddish pink, but it didn't look too vibrant. It actually looked perfect. It looked, I don't know, it fit kind of a cool orky aesthetic. I really enjoyed it. So he's got some 40K stuff. He's got some scale model stuff with lots of tanks and stuff over there, and of course you guys know your Wolf Brother loves the Gundam stuff, so I mean just all kinds of cool content over there. Anyways, I'm gonna kick off the show like I normally do with some hobby updates. So this week I finished off 5 knobs, and I'll show them off here a little bit. That is a standard Ork Boy. That is not a knob. And I feel the need to show these off a little bit, because it only took me a whole month to paint up 5 knobs. Definitely a change from last month when I painted up 11 Ork Boys all in 1 week. So I'm going to start with the boss knob of this crew. And you can see here, he's got a metal, he's got 2 metal face masks because he's hardcore, which I've differentiated by leaving one kind of a worn steel on top and then painted the lower jaw section all black and doing the horns. So really, really like the way that came out. And of course, is it WYSIWYG to give him both a badass looking choppa and a power claw? Probably not. But I just thought it looked cool. Anyways, so that's my boss knob of the 5. My next power claw guy. You see the checkers there. Oh yeah, I forgot to show off on the boss. You got the checkers on the shoulder pad, which I really enjoy. Also, of course, we got the checkers on this next guy. We've got the fading heat effects, and I know I always say that I don't refer to the color wheel very often because I don't like, the idea of art, science, and theory, telling me what I got to paint my stuff, but it's no doubt that it looks good. So I wanted to pick the red to yellow kind of color transition for the power claws on these guys because I thought it'd pop nicely against the bright, vibrant green skin of the orc. So that's how that came out. I really like the way the checkers came out on these guys. Here, I've got some of my corroded metal effect here and some of the worn chipped red paint here. This guy's got the big choppa. And of course back here he's got a shooter, which I gave a nice leather holster and a worn leather handle. I think he came out pretty well. So I don't know why it took me guys, I don't know. They definitely have more detail on them than your average boy, but I don't know why it took me so long to paint up these 5 guys. I think part of it though is just that I didn't know where I wanted to go with these, where I wanted to put the colors down. So this guy's got the kill saw, and then of course a shooter. And you got the worn rusted metal effect here, but then with some sponging of white paint over top. So you can, it's giving it a little more of a weathered and worn kind of look. This guy here, okay, so this is kind of funny. So this guy, he's got a very, very hefty bend to his big chopper here. It looks like it's bent after heavy use, and so that's a little bit of a story. So I had some awful frosting problem when I went and varnished this guy up. Just this guy frosted horribly, and so I was looking online, and a couple of the tips I came across was Heinrich, my man. Lupus, good to see you, my brothers. One of the tips I came across was to hit it with a gloss varnish and then set it next to a lamp or a heater, something that's going to kick out a little bit of heat but not too hot. So that way it helps dry it faster. And so what I did was, I don't have either of those. All my lights are relatively cool lights, and I don't have any space heaters because Texas. Chicken teriyaki, that sounds good. And so I just turned on the stove, and I was like, well, let me set this, just a couple inches from the stove, and hopefully heating the air close to it will help dry up this varnish. So I left it close to the stove, like I said, a couple inches away from the stove. Left the stove on, and it was only on like medium. I came back, and the axe head had melted, and it was drooped over the knob's head. But reflexively, I just grabbed at it and tried to kind of force it back into the right position. And it ended up in that kind of bent position, and then the plastic resolidified, and it was just fine. But the gloss and the heat did help my horrible frosting problem. So overall, really pleased with the way these 5 guys came out. So Lupus says, Russ! And Lady Dragon counters with Vulcan lives. Heinrich Botha says, Necrons! And of course, Mini Warmut says, chicken teriyaki! I mean, we all got to chant something, right? We all got to chant something. And so, Weather Pig Model Painting says he can't wait to use his salamanders for something. I really got to do a showcase on my salamanders, guys. I'm so proud of the way they came out. I keep saying my salamander. The way that the salamanders I painted up for my brother Kane came out. I'm really proud of the way they look, and I can't wait to give them to him. Of course, I finished them up just after all this lockdown stuff started, so it's probably gonna be a minute before I can get them to him. But first of all, I can't wait to see him because I want to hang out with my bro, right? But second of all, I can't wait to hand him these salamanders and teach him how to play the game. Although I suppose with 9th edition on the horizon, there's really no point in me teaching him how to play until the new set of rules comes in. And of course, I learned how to play the new set of rules, so no point in teaching him 8th, when we're going on to 9th, I guess. Other hobby updates. I did play around this week with a little bit with the grots. So I did a nice vibrant green before, and something people have told me is that your grots should always be brighter than your orcs, which something I heard somebody say online. And I'm like, well, I've already got very vibrant orcs, and I know that the bigger, more powerful, older orcs are supposed to be a little darker. It's just not the way I want to go with my orcs. So, oh man, good to see you, Commodore. Thanks for jumping in to say hi, my man. So, with that, I was like, well, I don't want to do really bright grots because, I wanted my orcs to be super bright. And I thought about maybe I could just paint them up with the same skin as my orcs. And you guys tell me. That's something I'm still looking at. But I did a test, and I was like, what if I did a pale, sickly green color for my grots? So I went with Contrast Plague Bearer Flesh, which is doing okay. Obviously, they're not as textured and detailed as Poxwalkers, so it's not quite the same effect. But this is how my pale skin grots are coming out so far. Ignoring the lore and painting the way you're painting your models the way you want. Shame. I know. We're gonna have to get the Game of Thrones bell out for me so I can walk naked through the streets. Shame. Gamecraft Dragon says it's exactly the same kind of skin he's doing for his cards. Very cool. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, guys. It's not done. It still needs a little basing, and I need a little highlight there. And I think my gray and my black there are kind of blending together for his clothes. So I need to do a lighter gray to differentiate from the black. But overall, he's coming along okay. I love this little pirate model from Foxbox Miniatures, though. They do such cool little characterful little goblins, though. So, anyways, I'm gonna do something with him, but he definitely needs a clean up on the basing, and he needs a few highlights, and I might brighten up his clothing a little bit. But yeah, that's just kind of messing around with a couple of test grots. Right. Naked except for the bow tie. Got to have the bow tie on as people are waving the shame bell in the streets. Good evening, Running Bear. And, of course, Brother Ian, I addressed your comment, but I didn't say good evening. Good to see you guys. Wait, you mean you're supposed to paint the way they do on the box? My Space Wolves say no. My Space Wolves, of course, being my black and blue color scheme. I always like to paint the grots a sickly gray. That's an interesting take. That would be really interesting to see. I had also considered doing like a really dark... I can't remember what's the darker... I know Yandan yellow is like the brighter contrast yellow. I can't remember what the dark contrast yellow is, but I did consider trying out the grots that way too. Having some yellow... like kind of like some of the older D&D hobgoblin art, where the way they used to be like a dark sickly yellow. Thought about doing that as well, but I ended up on settling on the Plague Bearer flesh. So far, I'm kind of liking where that's going. Especially the first one I did was I had a little Nuln Oil to tie it all together, Nuln Oil gloss, and on the second one I did a Reichland Flesh Shade gloss, and I think that tied the skin together a little better. So I think that might be more the direction I go. Again, I really like these Foxbox miniatures grots. They have cool little goblins. So anyways, yeah, those are some things I've been kind of just dabbling with. Honestly, the only reason I even started messing around with the test pieces on the goblins is because I was on a whole lot of conference calls this week, and I didn't want to get into something where I needed to pay attention and do a lot of detail, and I figured slapping some contrast down on some goblins would be a really easy autopilot thing I could do while completely 100% paying attention during these important conference calls. So my grots and orcs are all going to look the same skin, using this same 6-color palette on my entire army. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I don't know. I've having even though I'm liking the way the Plague Bearer flesh came out, I've really just gotten enamored with the way the necrotite green looks on my actual orcs. And so I don't know. I did these two up as a test piece. I might go back in and try the next couple of goblins the same way that I did my orcs and just see what I like better. Running Bear says at the end, "You do you, bro." See, that's what I like about you. Get to, I don't know, paint what you want, right? No. Why is this happening to me? All of my lights just dimmed out and went. All my studio lights just died out, like in the middle of me talking. I'm now sitting in the dark. This is not acceptable. Yep. Oh, this is not cool. This is not a professional looking stream. My studio lights are flashing. My ring lights are flashing. That's not a good sign, right? That's so weird. Okay, well, I mean, I have a really big have a really big studio light I could go set up, but it's probably not the best idea to do that midstream. So, yeah, pumpkin pie and a beer, nice way to start the weekend. Awesome, Running Bear. All right, guys. So apparently I'm in the dark now, relatively. I mean, I've still got the overhead light on, but I don't have my normal streaming lights. Coming for you, bro. Hide the plastic crack. We're not getting the salt yet. And actually, I may end up talking about the changes to the Tau, because I do want to get a little salty about that. Not as salty as one might expect, though. However, I want to save most gameplay discussion for when I actually have Freak around, so that way we can, bounce some of this off of each other. We shall see, though. We shall see. Now, I was going to do a whole painting and chatting bit, but I'm not sure how well I'm registering on camera. Actually, because of the overhead lights still working, it looks like the mini looks a little dark. Yeah, those nice vibrant greens don't really come out the way they're supposed to. I mean, you guys can kind of see what's going on. I could kind of go along with the painting. You guys know it is not a proper Wolfbrother stream if all the technology works the way it's supposed to. So far, still look good enough. Well, I'm glad you guys think so. Alright, so then we'll move on ahead with this painting and chatting. So anyways, I do want to talk about some of these 9th edition changes tonight. Like I said, I normally think it's better if I can bounce some of the ideas off of Freak back and forth a little bit. But you guys tell me what you want to see, because I am going to do some painting, for sure. If you guys want to hear me talk about some of the news, I can definitely do that too. Right here, please. Thank you so much, love.
You're welcome.
Alright, so anyways, we are going to start off by putting some base coats down on this Weirdboy. Set these in the background. Cuff my Yorkshire tea. After Freak went on about how good the Yorkshire tea was, and then, of course, my brother Spud from the Chilling Wargamers. Great time to remind you guys that we're both part of the IDICBeer Wargamer Unification group and the Chilling Network, as featured on the Chilling Wargamers. And starting this week, guys, you'll be able to see all of our brother channels on the Chilling Network down in the description below. So you feel free to check out any of those channels. Highly recommend them. Love working with them. But yeah, Spud also recommended the Yorkshire tea, so it has actually become one of my favorites. So I ran out of my Warpstone Glow last week, and I ended up changing a very, very, very similarly colored and pigmented color from Coat d'Arms into a dropper bottle. It didn't paint on very nicely. Oh, don't forget, my brother over at the Game Craft Dragon is doing his UK friendly live stream tomorrow from starting at 10. I'm not sure how long he's going, but starting at 10 a.m. U.S. Central Time, or 4 p.m. In the UK, which is exactly when we do our UK friendly live streams. So if you guys enjoy watching ours, I'm pretty sure if you hop over to the Gamecraft Dragons channel, you'll like seeing theirs. But so, Coat d'Arms, a lot of people talk about their paints very highly. Apparently, I'm told that they were the predecessor to what we now know as the Citadel paints. 10 a.m. till noon. Okay, good. So, anyways, I took a bottle of this Coat d'Arms. I didn't enjoy brushing it on. It was very watery. Yorkshire tea is overrated. Don't trust those northern buggers. Well, so far I'm enjoying it, Bofton. I really am. Although, it sounds like you might be a PG Tips man. In which case, that might be my next one to try. Alright, so Coat d'Arms, Citadel, original Citadel paint manufacturer. Good evening, Restless Kaiser from Modeling for Advantage. Good to see you, my friend. I didn't enjoy painting it on. It was very watery and very streaky. Good for working in a lot of thin coats, but it was still, even with multiple thin coats, just hard for me to get to the right consistency. However, I'm hoping that going through the airbrush and the way I'm able to get nice smooth blends with the airbrush, it'll work better through the airbrush. So you guys are kind of getting a live test, which is a horrible idea, to test out a new brand of paint on a live stream on a model that I intend to use. But you know, I mean, YOLO, right? My son likes to say, what's the worst thing that could happen? What could possibly go wrong? He likes to say that kind of thing because I'm very superstitious. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, I'm getting, you know, that's what I was thinking. The way it felt like by brush, it was going on unevenly. I felt like, you know, the way I'm able to get buttery, smooth blends through an airbrush, it might go well through the airbrush. You guys know how I like to do it. I like to start on the back of my glove until I get a nice, smooth, steady stream at the consistency I want. And then we're going to try something easy like the foot. If I mess up on the foot, I can always, you know, just redo the foot. Okay, that is going on much smoother by airbrush. Now, y'all, if the whistling sound of the airbrush gets annoying to you guys, I can mute my sound or just stop airbrushing. So you guys let me know. I'm sure the whistling sound can probably get old eventually. You know, for being a similar shade as the Warpstone Glow, that's got some nice vibrancy to it. You know, like I said, I did not enjoy brushing this on by hand at all, but by airbrush it seems to be working really nicely. Guys, I think those are some green feet. What do you think? Alright, so we're going to try and get this side here. Up in the ab area. Why do I feel the need to spray underneath the abs, the little ab armor here? I don't know. I don't know how many people plan on picking up my model and looking under the armor to see if I painted the abs. But, you know, I'm one of those people that if I don't paint the abs, I'll know I didn't paint the abs, and that'll bug me. Now I did even though it's a little watery, I did still thin it down even a little more with some Vallejo Flow Improver, just because I happen to like airbrushing at a nice thin consistency, and I just absolutely love Vallejo Flow Improver. I saw a new rumor that the Sword and Shield Marines will get Wolfguard keyword for Space Wolves. Very nice. Man, getting that extra attack with Arjak is going to be amazing. The old Citadel colors / coat d'arms were super rich. They make a brown that is awesome for leather. Very cool. Alright, so I want to hear from you guys from a different, you know, a couple of different hobbies point of view. Okay, do you guys bother getting the places that you know no one's ever going to be able to see? Like right now, I'm making sure to get under the arm guards and under the stomach area here where it's completely hidden by armor plates. And these are very segmented armor plates that no one's ever going to be able to see past. But I know if I pick up the mini and flip it upside down and take a look, if I don't paint it, I will know that there's an unpainted torso under there. So I got to get in there with the airbrush and make sure that I get that spot. Same reason why I got to paint that rhino on the inside. I know it's there. You guys should have seen the detail I put into trying to paint up the cockpit of my Xiphon Interceptor. Why? No one's ever going to see that. Although, it's funny, I couldn't bring myself, after painting all that, I couldn't bring myself to glue it down. So now that the canopy on that Xiphon is just blue tacked in place. Now some of you may ask yourself, Wolfbrother, why would you attach the head when the armor there is surrounded by spikes? Well, I bought it used and it was assembled and it was already fully assembled. I just had to prime it. And so, I mean, on one hand, I don't like to build, so yay. But on the other hand, because it was already fully assembled, it didn't really give me a chance for doing any sub-assembly. But that's all good. It's all gravy. We will make it work. Modeling for Advantage says never bother with that. Right on, right on. I know it's just a weird bit of logic in me that makes me do it. And you know what's funny is my very first Rhino, I glued in place shut. Didn't think two things about it. Actually, no, it was. I think it already came glued. That's right. It was a secondhand one. But I didn't think anything of it until Freak put his first Rhino together and says, "Hey, did you paint the inside of yours? Look at mine." And I was like, well, mine was a used one. I never got the chance to. You don't paint the bottom of your tanks. You know, I saw that on Modeling for Advantage when Johnny B flipped over Kaiser's really awesome Nurgling converted Rhino. Looked super cool. But he flipped it over. He's like, what the heck is this? That's exactly what that reminded me of. By the way, if you haven't seen either of this week's videos by Modeling for Advantage, I mean, they're both fantastic videos. One of them is about their Crusade lists they're already building for 9th edition. And, of course, we all know points are going up. And so, you know, those lists may have to change a little bit. But it's fun to go ahead and start brainstorming what our Crusade lists are going to look like. And they've already started on not only their first 500 points, but their 500 points of reserves after that, so they can start subbing out models and, you know, substituting some reinforcements. So it's pretty cool. So definitely check them out. Have you guys already started thinking about what you're going to be doing for Crusade? Are you guys going to be playing Crusade at all? If you guys like those narrative kind of things, you know, definitely sounds like it could be something cool. You know, I was going to do a second coat, because I always have to do a second coat of Warpstone Glow, but actually this covered really well. I have no complaints there. I've started a new Crusade Wolf list for myself. No Primaris. Very, very, very cool. Very cool indeed, my brother. I was watching other Crusade lists being made, and I was like, hey, this person didn't bring wolves. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I have no room to talk right now, because we're all setting up for Crusade. And what am I doing? I'm painting a whole bunch of back-to-back orcs. Obviously, by the time I get done painting all these orcs, I'm going to want to put a 500-point force on the table. So I've got no room to talk. Well, guys, I've really done it now. I've painted myself into a little corner. I have started airbrushing, and I have not gotten myself my rinse bowl for airbrushing tonight. But something I do want to do while this layer dries before I start applying the moot green not moot green, necrotite green. So first of all, I want to rinse out the paint so it doesn't dry in the cup. A little backflow. So that's exciting to see that you're doing wolves for your crusade force. I gotta say, I know I keep saying this every week, but as more information comes out, opinions go up and down, and I have gotten upset about a few things here and there, but overall I'm still, even this many weeks later, still cautiously optimistic about what may come in 9th edition. Crusade's doing a pretty good job of building some of that excitement. Freak and I haven't done any, what do you call them? Those things that we used to have that were kind of like campaigns. Freak and I haven't done any campaigns before, not with each other. So, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, Crusade might be a good place for us to start getting into some campaign type stuff. Alright, while that's drying, another couple of things I want to show you guys as far as hobby update. Check this out. First of all, one of my patrons provided this Primaris Apothecary, and what we do is we offer to paint up a model for some of our patrons, and so this Primaris Apothecary, it's one that one of my patrons supplied that they would like painted up as a apothecary for a Raven Guard, so that's going to be cool. The ever mysterious Wolfguard Anonymous walked outside my door yesterday morning to find these vampire lords here, and there was a note that said that they would very much like this top vampire here to be painted up as Strahd from Castle Ravenloft. So, and of course it was signed by the ever mysterious Wolflord Anonymous. So I have to paint up a model for an anonymous patron, and I have no idea how to deliver it when I'm done. But painting up a vampire lord to look like Strahd is going to be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome indeed. Also this week, got to see my lovely sister Heather. My brother Daz had sent her over with this massive box of orcs, and I've just, doubled my orc collection here. So I've got 4 new Defcoptas, 4 new, and these are the classic Assault on Blackreach Defcoptas. Okay, I've got, approximately 30 new boys and like a dozen new knobs, and this Killican here. So, just a whole box of orky goodness that got dropped off yesterday. I am super hyped about that. You guys have no idea. I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, man, I got to get some more boys, because, the backbone of any orc army is a tide of green, coming at you, right? A big old blob of boys. Especially since being a Goth, I want to use the Goth stratagem to make them Ard boys and just, have them all buff at strength 5 coming down the field. 30 boys strong, strength 5, a billion T attacks. So, oh, Gamecraft Dragon says, holy crap, dude, I need people that give me free minis. Well, unfortunately, there's a price. There's unfortunately a price. These are my models because my brother got out of the game. So, unfortunately, I have an amazing new orc army, but the downside to that is that my brother no longer plays, Warhammer 40k. So, ups and downs, right? Ups and downs. I am super appreciative of these, this fantastic orc army that I have now, and I can't wait to get them on the table, and I'm excited to play them. Especially, I didn't really know that I would enjoy painting orcs as much as I do. However, however, and I really and truly mean this, I would happily give up my new free army to be able to have my brother back in the game. You know, unfortunately though, life gets in the way, and the man has no time to play anymore. But man, that would be great. I keep saying, I'm gonna paint them up and I'm gonna play them. I'm gonna love them. But if you ever want to get back in the game, brother, or if you ever just want to hang out and get a game in, you've got a fully painted army that's gonna be beautiful, just waiting for you to play. He's like, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, but if you do, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Yeah, but just consider, if you ever felt the itch, it'll be here and you can play it. So who knows? Maybe one day. I'm not gonna lose hope. But until then, I'm really super stoked, man. I mean, you guys know, you buff the boys, right? They get ability attacks, right? And ability attacks, if I buff them all up to strength 5, and then you get the Goths exploding hits on 6s. That's just going to be really cool, I think. But yeah, I'm really stoked, guys. So that was another really, really cool thing about my my week. And then, of course, like I showed you guys last week, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to start on him yet. But that's the other thing. So I've got 3 Patron projects going on right now. I didn't want to start any of them on the stream tonight. That's why I chose the Warchanter to start on. Because if I get to chatting and mess up something on the model, while I'm painting and chatting with the camera, on my model, that's fine. I don't mind stripping and restarting on mine. If I do that on someone else's, Lily will tell you, nothing stresses me out and freaks me out more than when I mess up on somebody else's stuff. Whether it's cooking for somebody else, whether it's painting for someone else, or even, man, I once did this whole Forge World order that, according to the tracking, says it got delivered here. Okay, the tracker says it got delivered here to my apartment complex. My apartment complex swears they never saw the box. But I had not only ordered for me, but we did a pool. We always do especially here in the States, if you order, I think, more than $200, you get free shipping. So me and friends usually go in together to do a Forge World order. Well, in this box that was over to the $200, free shipping thing, I had like more than $100 of my brother-in-law Hunter's stuff in there. He bought some stuff for, Necrons, and then some stuff for his brother's Demon Army. And, I mean, we just had a whole bunch of stuff in that box. So I actually had the smaller part of the box. $200, I put in like $80, and the other 2 put in, the majority of the box. I was less concerned about the $80 worth of stuff that the post office lost. And again, I had no control over that. The post office lost it. But I was so freaked out, not because I did anything, but because coming to my apartment, that box was my responsibility. And, I felt like I was holding $150 of my brother-in-law's money that never materialized to anything. So that's the worst thing for me, is messing up with other people's stuff. I really, 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 truly stressed out about that. Anyways, saying all that to say, that's why I'm painting up something of mine on stream tonight. Even though I have 3 Patron projects on the go tonight, I want to be able to actually focus on those things. And so tonight I'm going to be painting the Warchanter. Going back and looking at this, now that it's dried, I have to say, while I did not appreciate trying to brush on the coat to arms paints, God, that is some lovely coverage via airbrush. Big kudos to Coat to Arms. That's nice. Now, to Coat to Arms, they've got the classic GW style punts, and so I instantly and immediately switched that over to a dropper bottle using one of these thingamabobs Brother Freak printed up for me a while back. I definitely need to do the same with this Necrotite Green, which will be our next color we're going on to with our Weirdboy. So I have a squad of knobs now, a squad of boys, a Death Copter painted up, a lovely War Boss lady from Lady Dragon and Gamecraft Dragon, and now I'm going to have a Weirdboy. So, I'm out of patrol detachment now already, steadily working my way. I think my next painting project will be one of these 10-man boy squads, or The Gretchen I'm just going to knock out here and there as I go. So one of those two will get get finished first, and then I'll have a full little well, knobs are still elite choices, so it's still going to be a patrol detachment, but you guys know what I mean. I'm slowly expanding the force is what I'm trying to say. Going to get some Vallejo Flow Improver. That is surface primer. That would be bad. There we go. Drip, drip. A little Vallejo Flow Improver. Some of my Necrotite green, which is my absolute favorite green to work with. Came out a little watery. I might have actually used just a mite too much flow improver. I like working thin, but I don't want it to spiderweb on me. Oh, there we go. That's going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay, guys. Alright, hitting the highlight areas. So we're going to get the tops of the feet. You're even going to catch that little bit of ankle. Right on. We are going to ignore the majority of these muscles down here, but we are going to catch the highest point on the muscles. Boom! Little lat action. I feel like I'm back on the wrestling team with Coach Jones yelling at me, work on them lats. Yeah, we're not going to get too far underneath, but we are going to hit those lats. We're going to hit the top of the hands. Y'all, I don't like to talk about my age very much, but I've been out of school for a hot minute. And I'm still quoting Coach Jones. You guys got any teachers that you quote like that on the regular? Alright, now comes the interesting part. I got a challenge mode. I gotta get a nice smooth steady stream between all of these tusks and highlight. You guys know I like, if you guys watched my first Ork live stream, I like to highlight the very middle of the face with this Necrotite green. I feel like drawing that highlight to the center of the face really makes it pop. Starting on the glove, make sure I get the right smooth consistency. Alright guys, hold your breath. Slightly across the middle of the face. Okay, we're going to go in from the other angle. Make sure our consistency is still smooth. Coming to life, guys. Coming to life indeed. Right now I'm just blowing straight air on it, help it dry a little faster. Alright, gonna go in for another pass, fam. Alright, again, we want to keep it smooth. A little too strong. There we go. We want to go in between the tusks. Center of the face, just like that, fam. Turn it around. Still smooth, good. Just like that. Man, gosh. I know I say it a lot, guys, but this necrotite green is such a pretty color. Alright, guys. I am no light scientist, as Kenny Boucher says, but you know what? I know it's not the right spot to put those highlights on those triceps down there, but it just looks a little too dark. I just want to see a little more pop. Pop them muscles out. Good, 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 good. Does it make a lot of sense to have a highlight down there? Probably not. Probably not. That's okay. Alright, guys. That is how we're looking so far. Now he's a relatively simple miniature. I mean, there's a lot of skin. Okay, and then we got these armored plates here. We've got a few tusks. So I'm really thinking that's I think we've done quite a bit of work there. I'm going to pick up some green for his own orcs. Well, Weather Pig Man, thank you so much for stopping by, and you have a wonderful night, my brother. Or day, I just remembered it's lunchtime over where you're at. Thank you so much for stopping in, my brother. New base for your Crusade Wolflord. Alright. Well, I think that might be something we do. Might go on to some art of the week while this guy's skin is drying. Apologize for taking up some time here, guys. Stopping to clean the airbrush. I just don't want to let it sit while we do art of the week. You guys know it's one of the biggest downfalls for an airbrush is when you just let the paint sit, you know? So, doing a new base for the Crusade Wolflord. That is cool. And that is cool. Anybody else painting up something specifically for Crusade? I mean, I gotta admit, you know, I was starting on these. How dare you? Yeah, I gotta admit, I was started on these orcs before, you know, Crusade got announced. But they're definitely probably going to be my Crusade army. Now, I don't anticipate needing the War Boss on bike for the first 500 points. But, so, you know, my War Boss lady will probably be a good starting HQ. And, of course, this Weirdboy here with the jump will probably be good for that. But as games get bigger, I'll be looking forward to using my War Boss on bike too, just because I think he's a cool looking model. And you guys know how I feel about bike units with my White Scars army, or even very similarly cavalry units with my Space Wolves. Guys, don't inhale your airbrush cleaner. That's not a smart thing to do. That is not a smart thing to do. If Zane were here just now doing that by accident, that would have been the new accidental name for the live stream. Inhaling my airbrush cleaner, or huffing my airbrush cleaner. Yes, ma'am. Guys, hear that? A PSA from the lovely Lady Lee. Don't huff your airbrush cleaner. All right, one last wipeout, and Archer, how dare you? What up, baby? Good to see you, brother. How could you, Archer? How could you? You guys know that's my pet peeve. Alright guys, so let me put this up and we'll go on to some art of Zivik. But, guys, we got our skin tone down on our Weirdboy. That's half the battle right there. I mean, the armor's a black metallic. The tusks, I mean, you guys know how tusks go. I mean, I really feel like we got most of the work done right now. I'm going to take a celebratory swig of Yorkshire tea. And we'll go on to looking at some art of the week. Alright. So this is how we're going to do this. Art of the week. Alright, let's see if this link setup I have. Aha! Still works. I knew it would. No problem. Spoiler alert, I didn't know that was going to work, so I'm glad it still works. First off, guys, we'll come back to my stuff, but I did want to show Weather Pig Model Painting did a video earlier this week that compared a Ravenwing biker he did before to a Ravenwing biker he did recently, years later. And so I had just done the heat effect on my Power Claws the night before. And so after seeing his video, I was like, man, I bet you if I go look up my first heat effect, my first heat blade, which was this burning blade relic on this librarian. Guys, don't look at how badly that's painted. Don't judge me, please. Please don't judge me. But let's just forget this. This doesn't exist, guys. This right here, though. Yeah, if we look at how not smooth. This was, admittedly, I'm still proud of this because this was my very, 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 very first experience with wet blending at all. So, I mean, the fact that I did anything for my first wet blending experience, at least there's no hard lines or anything, right? I mean, it's not amazing. But yeah, it is chunky. It is that there's texture there where there shouldn't be. It is not a smooth gradient. And at the end, it's just a tiny amount of yellow at the top. So it's not so much a burning blade like I meant for it to be, but so much as I guess a red hot blade with a little bit of yellow. Anyways, but I compare that to how, my blends do look way smoother here. And this was still work in progress, but still, I mean, those much smoother, butterier blends than this first one. So I really enjoyed seeing that on Weather Pig's channel, and it inspired me to go do my own past to present comparison. Very, very proud of how the last 4 years I've progressed. Also, this was my it went with my betrayal at Calth, my very first big commission, and I feel like I need to go back in time and give that guy his money back. Looking at my quality of work at the time, oh man. I mean, but he was a friend and he asked me to do it, but. We're going to go back up to the top here. Got some great... We had tons of people submitted some awesome stuff this week. Um, here we go. I'm going to start with this one. Tim Gilbert in the 40K Converters group. That's going to be my first stop on Art of the Week. Okay, we're going to go back. Now, I can't actually... I don't know why I'm telling you I can't see the comments. I have phones I can pull up the chat with. But yeah, so we're going to start here. So, Sergeant... anyways, Tim Gilbert in the 40K Converter. Sergeant Riccioli of the Blood Angels First Company. I can pronounce things, right, guys? Don't judge me. Oh man, we got some amazing submissions here by Brother Big D. I'm gonna save these real quick, guys. I hope you don't mind me taking a second. I want to save these and send them over to myself. I feel like this entry from Soshi you sent me is a trap, Brother D. Because you guys know how the chat's going to make fun of me. They always do. The chat always makes fun of me. That's okay. That is absolutely okay. Because that's what fam does, right? We pick on each other. I am liking that, Big D. I am liking that a lot, good sir. Come on, there we go. Send it to myself. All right. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. So, check out. I want to know where this bit comes from. And you guys are usually really excellent at knowing how these bits are done. Wow, that was kind of Inception there. Okay, but you guys are usually good at spotting where these bits come from. So let me know where that ball and chain comes from. That is so cool. That would be great for one of my Meteor Hammer style Thunder Hammers in my White Scars. So, guys, if you know, hook a brother up. Let me know where that bit comes from. But, yeah, that bit is awesome. I like that. I think that is one of those Betrayal at Calth, comes on the Betrayal at Calth sprues, the leather skirt there that the Ultramarines use a lot. So that's pretty cool. It looks like a Grey Knight's helmet, I think. It's got just some cool bits there. Very, very cool. Warriors of Chaos. Okay, I mean, that's possible. So I need to know so I can order one of those ball and chain bits. That looks really cool. Okay, here we've got a close-up here. You can see just kind of here we've got the 30K studs, or baubles as Brother Spud calls them. Got the studs here on the right shoulder, or left, I guess, our right. Just look at that, and I think that's all non-metallic gold work. It just looks incredible. Then check out the detail on the shoulder pad here. That's so cool. That is an awesome, awesome entry. Big D just sent this over. Let's take a look at this. This is his base for his new Wolf Lord for his Crusader games. That's going to be really cool. Got a very cool icy mountain kind of feel to it. Very cool. Also, you can see you can follow Brother Big D on Instagrams over at the Gamecraft Dragon. Alright, I'm going to go back up to the top. Because if I don't, I will lose my place. You guys know your Wolf Brother has a very short attention span. So this is one of those 4-in-1 pictures. This definitely gets you in the mood for a badass D&D game. I wonder if this is a tiefling, maybe? Looking at the horns on the head. It's a... whatever it is, it's a badass sword and shield pose. Love the lava bases. I bet, you know, this would be a freak approved lava base, I think. Really, really excellent combination of the colors there with the black crust on top. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I say an excellent combination of colors, you know, sure, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, it's just, you know, red, yellow, orange, and white. But it's just the proportions that you use them in and how smoothly you blend them. And this one is just amazingly done. Fantastic. Another 3-in-1 pick. Got a Bard here. Now this, I mean, this definitely gives you classic D&D. You know, your tens, your friend, you and your friends meet at a tavern, kind of feeling. Happy freaking Friday, X-Gear Commander. Good to see you, my man. Big D says it's from a Forge World Khorne Rampager spliced on a couple of Deathwatch arms. Is that the dude with the ball and chain that we were looking at a minute ago? Just checking. But yeah, so checking out this little halfling bard here definitely gives me some hardcore D&D, you and your friends meet up in a tavern vibes. I mean, there's no clear tavern table or bar here, but it's just the kind of vibes it gives me. And I love the lighting, you know, coming from the candle. Obviously, you can see the warmth and glow on the halfling, the way the glow bounces off the wall. I mean, this is just extremely well done. You know, it's a... I mean, I see it's on a plinth. Obviously, this is a display piece. That display piece could very, very well be, you know, a very, you know, just they could just title it, you know, an exercise in OSL in D&D world. Like that's exactly. I mean, it leaps out at you. Look at this. Look at this. This is so awesome. So originally, when I first looked at this, it's not going to show very well because it's a long form 3-in-1 picture. Originally, when I first looked at this, though, I thought it was the gray of a space wolf at first, but then when I saw the katana and saw the you know, the little thunderbolt symbol here that I know from my own White Scars that comes in a White Scars decal pack, I'm like, oh hey, this might be, you know, a very dark and gritty Scar or Scar successor. Whatever it is, it looks amazing. Love the skull helmet here. Love the katana. I think that's one of those puppet war katana, which I've ordered several of. So, very, very cool. It is such a badass take on the Captain and Gravis armor. Again, I wish I had some close-ups here, but just the way these pictures were posted happened to be in that long form, which makes the picture smaller. But amazing work. And I want to say, oh, here we go. I was about to say, I know I have the original poster here somewhere, and you get a nice little close-up here. Look how weathered and chipped that armor is. And you can see like a, you know, a dirty brown, you know, like a rusted, gritty kind of metal underneath the paint there. It looks great. New here, happy to share my recent work. A Gravis Captain minus the decorative stuff, plus a killy mean look. Hey, it's definitely a killy mean look. Oh, I think that's a Reaver face. That's cool. Very, very cool. Like the claws for the fingers. Nathan Kuhlmans? Schulmans? Kuhlmans? It's Nathan's. Nathan on the 40K Converters Kit Bash Challenge, Kit Bash Carnage group did a phenomenal job. Well, I'm going to have to order me one of those Khorne Rampagers, Big D, my man, because I got to get me one of those Meteor Hammer style Thunderhammers. All right, next thing we're going to look at. Now, I wish Freak were here to see this because we were talking about, you know, those chapters like Howling Griffins that do the split or quartered color schemes, and of course that's really neither of our style, but it looks so impressive when other people do it. I mean, that's just, look how cool that is. It's got to be a pain in the ass to pull off effectively too. Like, I've seen a couple of tutorials on how to do it. You ever see something explained and still not understand? That's the way I feel when I watch people do tutorials on how to get a perfect split for something like a Howling Griffin. It's incredible. It looks great. And I love, 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 love. Often when I see split paint jobs like this, okay, they rely on the dynamics of the split or quartered paint job to really sell, you know, the color dynamic, right? But you can see here, this red shades down to almost black here. This yellow starts a nice, rich, vibrant yellow over here and shades down to like an orangey brown here. So even the colors within the colors have shade and depth to them, and I just really feel like this whole piece is amazing. Not to mention the banner. I mean, obviously the banner is just super talented. I mean, that's got to be freehand, right? I mean, obviously we know that the ivy comes on the banner, but I don't think they sell decals for the Griffins, and I know for sure that they had to have penned in the letters themselves. So, just incredibly cool. And that's not an easy that's not an easy animal to replicate freehand. So, they're just really cool work. Absolutely solid. Olaf Miniatures, by the way, if I didn't make that clear before, it is Olaf Miniatures on Instagram. You can check them out, follow them for great work. And in the bottom corner here, you can see that while I was receiving, I can't remember who submitted this piece here, but when they sent it to me, I was watching one of my favorite live streams throughout the week, the Chilling Wargamers. This one is a weird one. So this is a crazy, crazy conversion. Good old hand for a head. That's right. This conversion, just like it looks like Thing reaching out for you from the Addams Family. It is a hand reaching out of the neck hole here as the head. Its axe has been replaced by a plague bearer. Not plague bearer. One of those Death Guard, axes with the cogs and whatnot. And then it's got almost a Tyranid looking, kind of mandible thing here for an arm. It's just a creepy, creepy overall piece. And then the fact that it's just covered and wallowed in mud, and it also, I think the dinosaur skull adds to the aesthetic. I mean, it's just a really, really creepy vibe overall. It is a really, really crazy looking what the fuck. That's what it is. It's from Totally Not Panicking on Instagram. These, you know what, these I'm going to go ahead and skip over because I want to be able to show these to Freak next time that he's on the show. So we're going to go ahead and skip over those, but little teaser. They look amazing. Alright, so this is from Simon Flack on the Games Workshop Army Painters. I was supposed to paint this in between doing 20 plus intercessors to help them break out, but once I started, I just kept going. Not a bad model to paint. This is one of the push fit ones I got in the Conquest subscription. Would be nice if Conquest came over here, huh guys? Looking forward to painting another one with all the options to fit it though. I better clear these intercessors first. So this is a purple scheme with the fist symbol. Very cool, very cool. Very clean work. But that is a very striking purple though. You guys know I love a good heat bloom effect. So that looks great there on the barrel. Decals look nice and crisp. There's a close-up there. Just overall super, super clean work. And I love, 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 the text, the litanies there. You can see it on the shoulder pad too. Great detail. This one was submitted by Brother Meeks from Radicraft on Instagram. And you can see here it is a Space Wolf that has joined the Death Watch. Is that blue or dark purple? I thought it was dark, or I thought it was purple. Could be blue. You know, it really reminds me of the color Imperial Blue from Vallejo, where it's that dark blue, almost purple kind of color, or purpley blue color. So I think it could be either. In the words of Sean Spencer from Psych, I've heard it both ways. So going back to this Wolflord here from Radicraft. Love, love, love the use of some of these parts here. I think that is the cape from the Chaos Lord. You got the Deathwatch shield and shoulder there. Awesome Thunderhammer, awesome Thunderhammer here. Long Viking style braid down the side of his head here. Very cool. I think those are the racks from Harken Worldclaimer from the Black Legion. Love the pose, the stance. You know, he definitely has that very, nothing's getting past me look. Again, super cool. I think this is the Blackstone Fortress Chaos Lord guide, just because I was just looking at this bit. I happened to buy up one of those Chaos Lords, considering using him for a Brand Red Maw conversion, but there's just too much Chaos stuff ingrained in the armor to make a good clean conversion, including a lot more tentacles on the model than I realized. Again, I don't remember who sent this to me, but this is a Chi-Cop SG1. Chi-Cop SG1? Chi-Cop? Something like that. But a pretty badass intercessor here for the Space Wolves. Classic colors, done well. Oh, that's the cape from the Worldclaimer, just like the rack on top. Okay. It is a great model. Lars, good to see you, my brother. Lars says it looks purple to him, too. So, pretty awesome. Really, really great non-metallic work here. Non-metallic metal work here. Very cool. The expression on the face, perfect. The shading on the yellow down to this, dark orange here looks very cool. Overall, just the lighting is just absolutely perfect on this model. The face kind of reminds me of, young Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian. Love, love, love the way this Space Wolves blue is shaded. It actually gives it a really, I don't know, I'm not normally a big fan of the traditional Space Wolves gray, blue-gray color, but it's just shaded so perfectly here. It looks awesome. Lars is actually building some Blackstone Fortress models tonight. Very cool, my man. I think I want to get some of the rotary tannin kit tips to put on my aggressors. That would be cool. I've always thought the models I've seen with those look very cool. I don't even remember who sent me this orky goodness, but it's very cool. Check out. I'm pretty sure this is one of the pirate heads from Spellcrow. I could be wrong, but the body is definitely Gazgul. And this guy has been, what is that? I know Big D plays the blue armored guys. This is the Freebooters? Death Skulls. Death Skulls. Anyways, a great conversion here on Gaz. You can definitely see he's chopped apart the Gaz's cannon to make a more custom one. Oops, going the wrong way. There we go. This is from Radomir Taub? Radomir Taub from the 40k Ork community. Gazgul conversion finish. Behold Captain Grandma the Bone Snapper 2.0. So you can see there's a whole bunch of cool conversions here. We're going to go through them in a little more detail. So this is the cool pose he's got on him. This one looks like he's just landed or touched down, you know, landing on the scene to deal some damage. Those tiny little stubby barrels seem kind of underwhelming on the aggressors. It's cool. I could see why you would want to get the rotary cannons. 'Cause you're a heretic. Eggshell blue for the win. Oh my god, Ork Pirate Gaz. Kaiju Shorts. Good evening, Kaiju, my man. Great to see you. Guys, if you don't, those of you, or most of you probably don't know, but if everything works out and the stars align perfectly, we are looking forward to working with Kaiju next week for the show. So that will be absolutely awesome. Now, I thought this was interesting, guys. 3 of the claws face forward, but then randomly this top one, it's all hooked backwards the other way. I'm not sure why. It just always catches my attention whenever I see it. It's pretty interesting, though. I love the little bits of blood, like not an overwhelming amount of blood splatter, but just on the inside of the claws here where the grooves are, just that little bit of blood splatter. And you can see it runs down consistently. You know, like he was actually grabbing something. It's not just random blood splatter. Like, it makes kind of the impression of a body right there, you know. So, that's pretty cool. Oh. Going on to our next one. This one was sent to me by Brother Kaiju, who actually just appeared in the chat. And when he sent it to me, he said there's never enough Xenos in the chat during Art of the Week. So he hooked us up with some Tyrannid goodness. And you can see here at the bottom of the screen, by the way, when I received this one, I was watching another one of my favorite channels, the Gamecraft Dragons Taco Tuesday this week. And this is from Ars Minis. Very cool. So here we have like a charcoal kind of color on the exoskeleton, and then a purpley fleshy color for the soft underbits. Some more, you can see that each of the segments of armor of this chitin style shell is very detailed. From this side too. I also love, I don't know if they've used a gloss coat on it or what, but it's like the chitin bits, the hard parts of the shell look like hard shell, and the fleshy parts look almost wet. You know, it adds to the creepy vibe. I really like this angle here. You can really see the different muscles standing out in the jaw area of that purpley flesh here and along the arms. This is another one. Wow, you really get to see the different kind of sinuous kind of texture here. All that muscle and sinew. Very cool. It's interesting because it seems brighter looking at it straight on. These next pictures are from my brother Heinrich Botha. There in the chat. And this is his 500 point list. So he's doing some escalation. Actually, is it 500 points? Is it more? It's more. Because he was doing 500 points before, but I think he's up to 1,500 now. Pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I think that's the way I remember it. But check that out, guys. So 2 Tomb Sentinels. I've always wanted to see these in action, Tomb Sentinels. So I really hope he lets me know how they perform on the battlefield. Now this is cool because interesting thing is that he doesn't have the Forge World Tomb Sentinels. And I wouldn't have looked at these models and realized he didn't have the Forge World models. He said he sacrificed 6 Wraiths apiece to make these long segmented bodies to create his own Tomb Sentinels. That's a dozen Wraith bodies spent here, guys. That is commitment, and it looks cool. And I actually asked him in the chat. He shared his list with us, and I said, your list looks great. You've got some great firepower. I'm just kind of surprised I don't see any wraiths there to tie stuff up in combat. And he said that he's got his wraiths in reserve to use if he needs to, but after sacrificing 6 wraiths apiece to build these big, beautiful models, he wants to put them on the table and use him. And man, I feel that. That is a mood so hard. You know when something underperforms and you just want to use it anyways because it looks badass. You know, that is the kind of hobby attitude I really and truly applaud. So that is so awesome, brother. So I think it looks phenomenal. I think this whole army looks phenomenal. He said, yeah, sorry for the terrible pictures. I'm like, this looks great. I love the dark background. It looks well lit from the center here. And I mean, you're definitely good at, you know, the aesthetics in your posing because, you know, you've got the troop choices in a V, right? You got them flanked by the Tomb Sentinels. You know, everything just looks cool here. I love the kind of color pop he's got going here. He's got 2 squads of Tomb Blades. Those are the ones that are the jet bikes, right? The Tomb Blades. And then he's got a whole mess load of destroyers back here. Look at these destroyers. Just the green highlights so on point. The transition from green to yellow here just really is pop. It's vibrant. It's just all that. It just looks amazing. So, and I think this is his conversion for a command barge. I am 1,000%. I'm sure I'm wrong on that. Looking at my comments here, I've sacrificed a sufficient amount of Xenos. The rest is in the hands of the gods. Filthy Xenos, says Buffnet. He's rolled a full swarm like that. It's insane. Wow. Can you imagine that Tyranid we were looking at a few minutes ago? Just a whole Tyranid fleet painted up like that on the table. I am a big fan of when things are painted up in thematically and in unison and seeing a whole army that looks, you know, consistent, and I bet that would be so amazing to see. Back to these Necrons. Big shout out to Heinrich Botha, because these Necrons look amazing. I could probably tell you what's in his 1,500 point list if I didn't lose my placement. But I'm just stalling because I'm looking for this post. I'm not stalling well because I've made it obvious. I really feel like it wasn't that long ago. I really should have, and see, this is a good lesson learned for future Mythos, as I really should have snapped a picture of the list and put that with my Art of the Week pictures. That's what a smart Mythos would have done. And then showed you guys that. But I've got the list right here, guys. I've stalled long enough. So his list is a Cryptic with Chronometron and the Staff of Light. An Overlord. 3 squads of Immortals. 2 Tomb Sentinels. And that's all in, of course, your battalion. And then he's also got an Outrider with a Catacomb Command Barge. I was correct. 2 units of Destroyers and Tomb Blades. I was correct about that as well. Guys, I know Necron things. I am Necrons, as Brother Spud would say. Something I'm going to send myself real quick, because I want you guys to see how cool this is. I hate when I fall into the trap of, are you sure you want to save this picture? And then I don't see that, so I think I've saved the picture correctly, and I haven't. Here we go here. Guys, this is the unpainted version, so you can see the straight-up conversion of 6 wraiths apiece here, sacrificed to make these amazing-looking Tomb Tomb Sentinels. Look at that. In its unpainted form, you can really see the different wraith bodies used to make the segmented body of these Tomb Sentinels. Isn't that cool? It's completely transformed it, although in a creepy way now, seeing that it's the back end of one wraith into the front end of another wraith really is giving me human centipede vibes. I wish I hadn't thought of it that way. Anyways, it's only awkward if we let it be awkward. Let's just continue on. Alright guys, so here we have this an Orca thingamabob. I'm really good at orcs, guys. I'm orcs. But what I love here is this purple-yellow color scheme here. It really reminds me of Evangelion. You know, the main suit on Evangelion. And man, you can see some absolute killer blood effects here. But I want to say this is either a Killican or Death Dread. It is one of them. I'm sure Big D will correct me here in the chat here in a second, because anytime I don't know orc things, this guy always is on point. Or Lars. Necrons completed it. Methos 2020. You right. Lars will let me know what this beautiful beast is here, though. This is awesome, though. I really love this purple and yellow look with the metallics here. The blood splatter is just enough to show that saw blade has been in motion. It's been spinning. It's bit into somebody. But it's not overly done, right? You can still see plenty of this beautiful paint job. Oh, okay, so the Death Dread I have has 2 of these kind of power packs on the back. This one's only got 1, which means it's likely a smaller one, so this is probably a Killican. I want to say. I think I've got it. Guys, I'm pretty sure I just completed orcs. So, I am orcs. But yeah, just love this color scheme, guys. It really, like I said, gives me those hardcore Evangelion vibes. This is from Wayne Humber in the 40K Orc community. Oh man, I didn't even realize when I saved this picture before. Look at that targeting eye. That is so detailed. Guys, you know what that reminds me of? If you guys ever watched Reboot, Enzo Matrix gets this cybernetic eye later on. And when he targets something, his eye goes into a targeting kind of thing. That's what that reminds me of, hardcore. If it's got 2 arms, it's a can. If it's got 4 arms, it's a dread. Ha ha! I got it right, guys. Completed it. I am orcs. Got it. Nailed it. We're going to skip my stuff for now. Brother D sent me some of Soshi's work in progress here. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Another gorgeous bust by Soshi. And I always feel like Shoshi, I mean, she's one of those that really, I mean, she does Kingdom Death figures all the time and stuff like that. I feel like, I want to say almost nobody does better female skin tones than Shoshi. Look at it. I'm not even sure what this is. It's a beautiful elemental looking kind of piece. Work in progress. She's still in that rough stage, but we're making headway in the water from something. But water, so it's probably an elemental piece. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece here. And this is just a work in progress stage. It already looks gorgeous. She says it still looks pretty rough. What? What? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's still work in progress and already lovely. So, I mean, this is going to be one badass piece by the time she's done with it. And those are the converted Necrons. Alright, I'm going to do a little self-serving, guys, just because I'm excited, guys. I really enjoyed painting them up. I know I showed you kind of on the cam earlier, but these are some actual close-up pics I took. My knobs with my Ork boys back here, all lined up together. Got one of the big choppers. Guy with the kill saw. Whoop, went in the wrong direction there. There we go. One of the power claw guys with, you know, the boss pole up top. Actually, I'm going to go back. I really am thankful. And guys, I know they're just squares. And not even great looking squares. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think I would have had the confidence to try freehanding checkerboard patterns before I saw Grumpy's tutorial. And certainly not before I got the experience in painting the triangle and tribal marks on my white scars. So I really feel like this was the right time for me to start orcs, because I have the confidence now to try stuff like this. There's my guy with who had the frosting problems and has the bent up big chopper. Funny thing, I feel like if I were doing any army other than orcs, first of all having the frosting problem, but then going back and fixing it with the gloss and then accidentally melting the chop, I feel like that would have really, 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 really stressed me out if it were any army other than orcs. But when it happened to this orc here, I was just like, oh man, now his big chop is a little crooked. I'm like, it just looks like an orc bent it out of place hitting something too hard. It'll be fine. I don't feel like I would have been that low stress about anything else. Just orcs. I would have said, man, I ruined it. I probably would have flung this mini across the room. I would have been just upset that I ruined this piece. You know, it would have gone into the green, the mean green. I probably would have stripped it and started over. But I'm just like, oh, yeah, I mean, he's an orc. He probably, you know, bent the metal out of shape. It's fine. That's probably not the right attitude to have. I should probably have pride in all my work. However, I don't know. I feel more laid back when I'm painting orcs. And little mistakes like this don't seem to bother me as much. And I think it's one of the things I'm really enjoying about painting orcs. It's been a way less stress in this journey for me. I feel like I need that right now. And then there's a close-up of my boss knob, the boss of the group here. You know, I like the worn metal mask here. It gives me some Man in the Iron Mask vibes. You know, I like the chipping added to, you know, the red racing stripe down the front. But even the racing stripe's been all chipped up. You know, added some weathering to the skull here, you can see. Of course, you guys know I love my glow effects. I don't know, the boss really pleased me even more than the others. Like, just really love this piece. Alright guys, so that is Art of the Week, guys. So, y'all tell me. I said at the beginning of the show I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the news without Freak. But you guys know there's been a ton of different things in the news come up this week about, you know, Overwatch changes and Tau changes and different faction focuses. If you want me to cover some of that, I will, or I can go back to painting this awesome Weirdboy here. What y'all think? There we go. Let's see what our beautiful chat has to say. What else could you possibly be stressed about? Everything is fine. True. That's my Methos. Smart like bull, strong like owl. You turn those killer cans into killer can do. Got 'em. I even made myself cringe with that one. Oh, that's why I look forward to my new project after these AdMech and Gundam kits. This is all my test stuff. Nice. You know, it's funny you bring up the stress thing, Lars, because I think that's one of the reasons why I'm really loving this Ork project is because I feel like everything I do with my White Scars project is stressful. Because every little misstroke I do on the White Scars always takes me lots and lots of effort to fix, because I'm not just slapping on more white, you know. I'm trying to, first of all, putting something that's going to get good coverage because everything shows through white. And then I don't want just plain white. I want to back up to my smooth, buttery blends. And it's just really stressful. So, you know, stray brush strokes always, while my white scars are like the devil. So, having orcs where I can have this more laid back attitude just feels, I don't know, it's fun. I can hobby without consequences. I'm not sure that's entirely true, but something close. All right, so I was just thinking earlier. I was like, I wonder if I could airbrush these tusks, and then realizing how close that comes to the skin. I think that would literally be suicide. Yeah, that would just really be a bad idea. So we're gonna go in and hand paint some of this. Now just to figure out what color I want everything. Well, all the metal bits I am going to want to be beaten and hammered and dark. So we're probably going to start off by painting all that brown. Pants will probably be gray. White is a bit scary to paint. Haven't done much, but if you mess it up, it is... Yeah, if you mess it up, that's that. It's definitely no fun. If you mess up orcs, it's just more orky. Exactly. There's a lot of times where I feel like I'm being lazy, but I'm going for a certain aesthetic. But like here when I did the red, I intentionally put on the red in a very splotchy manner because I wanted some of that, you know, silver to come through like paint has rubbed or worn away over time. But as I was painting, I had to keep coaching myself to not touch it up, to leave those splotchy areas, because I did want that weathered and worn look. But yeah, by not doing it right, I was trying to make it more orky, but my natural inclination was, you know, to go back and fix it and touch it up and get a smooth base coat, you know. So alright guys, we're going to start off with some Rakarth flesh for some leather here. Just because I really like Rakarth flesh. You know what? We're going to do the silver first. We're going to start off with our more dark silver, which is Vallejo's Magnesium. It is a nice bit darker of a gunmetal color. Not quite as bright as, say, Lead Belcher. And the reason why I'm starting off, you know, I'm doing the rest of the metal armor in browns first, but I'm going straight in with a dark gunmetal color for this, is because I want, even though they'll both have kind of a silvery feel to them, I want them to be different. You know, I don't want them to feel like the exact same metal. And of course, because I'm doing my goths, you know, like parts of the black armor, the armored bits have to be black. And so what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to do my weathered metal, and then I'm going to go back and paint it black. But of course, just like I was just showing you guys with the red, I'm going to leave it splotchy and leave some of that chipped, worn area showing through. So that way we have some of that worn metal chipped and peeking out from underneath the black armor. I know some people go back and like doing the chips on top. The chips on top of the armor color, but I don't know, I think it's just something in the logic of my brain where I want the metallic chip color to be underneath the black part. right? And I'm sure it doesn't matter. It's, you're fooling the eye into looking at a certain way in the end. However, it's just, again, my brain just can't get it out of my head that, well, I mean, if you're chipping to show the metallic underneath, right, shouldn't it be underneath the paint on the armor? I don't know. Probably being a bit too silly with it, but that's just the way I think of it. Damn, all this talk of chips is making me hungry. Okay, so I know for our British friends, chips would be what we call French fries over here. What are and crisps would be what we Americans call chips. What are chips to Aussies? 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 Aussies. Are chips more like crisps or chips more like fries? I'm always interested in international food differences. Alright, next we're going to do these leather handles. And guys, I found my favorite way. Okay, over there, chips can be either one. You have to know on context. Right on. Well, since you are talking more about being hungry and less about just general snacking, I'm going to assume you meant like French fries. So guys, for my orcs, I've been using a little recipe for my brown leathers when it comes to like the boots or the weapon straps or the holsters on the back. And that has been Rakarth flesh and Gorgrunta for contrast. And I've just really enjoyed the way that combination makes my leathers look. And so that's what I'm going in with right now is my Rakarth flesh. Somebody once asked me, because I love talking about my ghost brushes and I love my broken toad brushes, they asked me why I never use my good brushes when I'm on stream. And of course the answer is because when I'm painting on stream, I'm very, very, very sidetracked. I might go, reading comments and not get back to my brush for like 5 minutes. And if I haven't cleaned my paintbrush then, in that time, of course, that could be damaging to the brush. And often, because when I'm painting on stream, I'm not switching back and forth between what brushes I'm using. And so, in doing that, I'm not switching, I don't want to use my good brushes with metallic paints, because that could just really junk up your brushes. So, when I'm painting on stream and I'm not really worried about brush care, I just go for these, cheap but good solid workhorses like Army Painter, because again I don't mind if I junk those up by accident. All right, while I let that paint dry before we reach for the contrast, next will be, I don't have the right color to start on the tusks at the moment, so we are going to go with these lucky sticks here. Let's start with the Xandri dust. And so I'm going for a darker bone on these these wands here, or I don't know what you want to call them. I guess wand is a good enough word. But his little spellcaster sticks here. I'm going for a darker bone on them because I want to go with a brighter, a more clean bone kind of effect on the tusks. And I want to differentiate the different kinds, having different colors of bone so they don't just look the same. Plus, I think, having a dirtier kind of a brown, more aged bone kind of looking probably be a nice contrast with this bright green skin. Greens and browns usually go pretty well together. I gotta say, this pot of Xandri dust, it's pretty awesome. It's an air paint, which air paints are usually thinner. Plus, I've watered it down even more with some Vallejo flow improver. And guys, still getting some serious coverage here. Like, it is super thin, but it's, you can see there's still grooves here. That it's not going on super thick, but it's still got great coverage. I only feel like because it is so thin, though, it gets kind of a little watery. And I feel like I got to go back and check around and wipe it several times because otherwise, it being kind of watery, it does kind of pool up sometimes because I've got it a little too thin. Man, trying to paint in between all these tusks is kind of a pain in the ass. But, for the minor inconvenience of trying to paint around all these tusks, I didn't have to put the model together, so that's something, right? What are you guys working on this weekend? I'm getting a little psycher action here, so I can jump my boys across the field. But I'd love to know what you guys are working on. So my phone hasn't gone off this whole time. I'm nervously keeping an eye on that. Hopefully things are still going okay with the emergency at work. They've not called me to come in, so that's possibly a positive sign. Of course, there's not a whole lot I could do at the moment. Just finished a shock jump dragster this week. That's awesome. That is awesome. Shock jump dragster. Big D's painted one of those. And right now he's working on a Wolf Lord for that base he showed off. Dalagar the Red. Very cool. So I've seen before you have a Smash Lord, one with a jump pack. I want to say jump pack, Thunderhammer, and Storm Shield. What will this Wolf Lord be, if you don't mind me asking? Is he going to be equipped any differently than your other Wolf Lord? You guys know I paid attention to his Space Wolf Army Showcase, so I know what Wolf Lords he's already got in the army. I'm interested to see what he's adding to it. Kaiju is working on an Onager Dunecrawler. So I have one that is finished, and I have had one that has been half finished for like a year now. I don't know why. I got halfway done with it and then just stopped. In fact, because it's been a while since I worked on it, it's currently got a little commander hair on it. But yeah, I've got one of my neutron laser dune crawlers that I did the airbrushing and got the beautiful purples down on it, and then I just have left half done. Like, I was like, I've airbrushed this completely done. So it's just been half painted for a year now. And interestingly, I chose to go with the feet on for the first dune crawler, and then for a more spider-like appearance, I went with feet off for this one. So you can see it's got just kind of walking on the tips of its feet. So Kaiju says, because I'm not playing, I literally have no idea what weapons I'm putting on anything. That's fair. That's fair. But hey, that gives you the most freedom, right? You get to put on whatever looks cool. My first dune crawler was already assembled by the time I got it. And it was with the Icarus array. And looking at the stats, obviously, because las cannons are amazing, the neutron laser probably would be my first choice stat-wise. But because my first one was already assembled, it was assembled with the Icarus array. And I love the way that thing looks. I mean, you've got a couple of assault autocannons and then a whole buffet of missiles. I'm so glad I got to paint that way, and I'm so glad that I have one that is with the Icarus array. And it's not a bad weapon choice either, so I mean, it's not as efficient. I mean, unless you're shooting at flyers, it's not as efficient as the neutron laser, but that's okay. I'm okay with running things that look cool. So I'm actually glad the one I have. And what's funny is I actually have bought on eBay bits to be able to swap out the weapons for that for a neutron laser. The neutron laser is still in its little plastic eBay baggie in my bits box. And I've just been running the Icarus array because it looks cool. And it's not... I mean, the Icarus array puts out so many shots. It's still never a bad choice, you know. It's still never... it's never disappointed me with, you know, its performance. Would it put out a little more damage if it was a neutron laser? Against heavy targets, absolutely sure. You know, but... First of all, it looks cool, but second of all, it's kind of fun because you get to rotate through different profiles on your Icarus array when you're shooting. You know, you're like, okay, well now I'm going to use the autocannons. Now I'm going to use the big rocket. Now I'm going to use the baby rockets, you know. I don't know, it's kind of fun just playing through that way. It's just an experience. Like, when you pick your Onager Dunecrawler to shoot, it's an experience. Like, and don't get me wrong, sometimes you go through... sometimes you go through all of that, and because, like I said, it's not the most efficient weapon, but sometimes you go through all that and you're like, okay, I've shot with like 15 different weapons with the Icarus array. I did like 1 damage. But then sometimes you have this an amazing round and you're like, I killed all the things. So it's pretty crazy. The more shooty looking ones. I think that's what I put on. I love the missile shoulder. Yeah, That's why you know what? This is so unprofessional for me to get up during my own stream to go get something, but just gotta show you. I made it sound like I was actually like leaving. It's just being drama, I guess. But okay, so we're gonna move this beautiful orc here for a second, and I love. I've seen some people do it with the shoulder or the missile thing closed, but I think it looks cooler to show off all the missiles you got on display here. You know, and of course, you know I love my heat bloom effect, so I've got the heat bloom on the autocannons. Then you've got just a buffet of missiles on the inside. You know, I don't even remember what they're called. I think it's a Daedalus missile is the big one, and then the Gatling missiles is the small one. I don't remember what they're all called, to be honest with you, but I just think they look cool. This is my completed Dune Crawler, and this is one of my favorite showpieces in my AdMech army. I feel like I love my wolves. I love my scars. I feel like my AdMech army is my best painted army so far. If I could just brag on myself a little bit. I don't do that very often, I don't think. But okay, that's a lie. I brag on myself. But I really feel like my AdMech are my best painted army. You know, and I've left this piece mobile here, so you can take it off if you want to. Like I said, I do have the upgrade pieces to make it the neutron laser, but this looks the coolest. But yeah, it's pretty neat. There's got the little feetsies, so this guy's walking on the big feets, and the other one will be walking on the tips of its feet like a little spider. Thank you very much. So, I have to say, I'm really excited that you're working on your Doom Crawler. Just hearing that you're working on yours made me want to go break out mine. Both of mine, actually. I went and grabbed both of them, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the work on yours. That's actually my exact setup on this guy, too. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. My son and I finally finished the original Blackstone Fortress recently, so we got the escalation. So I got escalation for Father's Day. Now that's what I'm building now. Very cool. I've always wanted to play Blackstone Fortress. I've thought about getting the set for me and my family as well. Let me know how that goes gaming with the family. Okay, we're going to use this little pot here that Freak made, printed for me, so I can stop spilling my washes. Thank you to everyone who complimented my Dune Crawler. Like I said, it's one of my favorite pieces in the army. Alright. Got some contrast Gorguntus fur. And where I went and put down the Rakarth flesh earlier, I'm just going to go in and contrast it up with this Gorguntus fur. I really feel like the combination makes some pretty good looking leather. If you like a darker looking leather. Now snakebite leather makes a great lighter color leather. But if you want some dark colored leather, I really feel like Gorgunter fur and Rakarth flesh together really work together well. And now we just wait for it to do its contrast thing and shrink into all of those recesses. Gamecraft Dragon, I don't know if I addressed that yet, says he's going to be rocking Frost Axe and Shield. That's going to be awesome. Very, very cool, my brother. Shock Jump Dragster. I know I saw Archer in here somewhere. Archer, detail work for my second Phobos captain. Lots and lots of Phobos. Very cool, man. Is this for your Raven Guard as well? They're going to be some very snipey, shooty Raven Guard. They do have the best setup for, the sniper captains. And of course, after I put all that up, I find a whole lot more of those leather straps. So we'll go back. We'll start on putting some leather down on them too. Very cool. Archer's got almost all Phobos for his Ravens. You know, hearing about your almost all Phobos Ravens just reminds me of listening to the Horus Heresy books and how, they're like some of the best snipers in the Horus Heresy series. It's very cool. There's one in particular that comes to mind that uses like a needle sniper rifle. That it uses, spoiler alert, to take what should have been a lethal shot on oh my god, I'm blanking hardcore. The pretty boy. Jesus. I've not forgotten the name of a Primarch before. Why can't I remember the name of the Emperor Children's Primarch? That's a first. How embarrassing. This is why you don't do drugs, kids. Huh? No. Emperor's Children. The Snake Boy. Fulgrim, yes, thank you, Jesus. Why can't I remember Fulgrim? I was like, it begins with an F. Fabius, that's not correct. Ferris, that is also not correct and a little heretical. Fulgrim, yes. Yeah, one of the Raven Guard has a needle sniper rifle. It uses it and pegs Fulgrim right in the eyeball. Like right in the eyeball. So anyways, that's just what it reminds me of. Fantastic snipers there. Sure, bump into the camera, Methos. That's a great way to run a stream. But yeah, some of those stories, really, really great snipers in the Horus Heresy. Not on my beautiful airbrush skin. All right. All right, guys, so we have about 10 minutes left in the show. I don't know if anyone has any closing thoughts, but definitely for myself, hearing about you working on your Honor Gadoon crawler, Kaiju, my man, I think I finally have a little downtime this weekend. I don't think I'm actually working this weekend for once. I think I might actually try and kick out that AdMech showcase that I meant to do like 52 weeks ago. So I think that'll be cool. Just hearing you working on your AdMech's just super motivational for me. So I think that's something I want to do. Please look forward to that this week. Also, I need to check with my brother Spud, because I would like to go ahead and put out my Wargamers image. That'll be cool. So, there might be a couple of videos in the pipeline this week. Also coming up this week, we will hit the end of the month sometime this week, which means Freak and I will need to draw names for our 700 subscriber giveaway. I'm not sure what format that's going to take. If we're just going to, I mean, it'll probably have to be, usually we get together for a giveaway. But it looks like we'll have to do that over, Skype or something this week. Who knows? It might be a live stream or something. We haven't really talked about it yet. We might live stream it. We might just make a video and put it up. Either way, hopefully sometime this week you guys get to find out who wins our 700 subscriber giveaway. So that'd be cool. That Gorgrunch fur came out really good as leather color on the chopper handle. Thank you. I really love the combination of Rakarth flesh and Gorgrunch fur. Looks really, it's really, I really like the way it looks for leather. I don't know why that came out so awkwardly. Alright, so that's got to dry before I go in for the next round of Gorgrunch fur. And of course, this darker bone up here has got to dry before I go in with a little skeleton horde. So I'm going to set that aside. And next thing I want to do is thank everyone who came out tonight, guys. Really appreciate you coming along. Really, honestly means a lot to me. I know it's not as exciting of a show whenever Freak is not here. I know everybody shows up for the freakaliciousness. But I enjoy having you guys along with me as well. And with that, you guys have been massively supportive tonight. I've appreciated all the comments. You guys really had made a really enjoyable conversation. And I always feel like I get quite a bit done during these. I feel like this Weirdboy is halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Anyways, so yeah, I feel like I got some stuff done tonight. I feel like we had a good chat. I saved my salt in reserve until I can really. I need someone to stop me when I'm ranting, or at least a sounding board to keep me from going over the edge. So I decided to save the news talk until I can rant, to someone else live. Next week we'll have on possibly Kaiju Shorts, so that'll be fun. Big thanks there. And, of course, big thanks to everyone on Patreon who helps make this happen. We really appreciate you guys every single week. And, of course, you guys know this is the time of the night, where I get a little excited. So if you have your headphones in, or if you got me up on the speakers, this is your chance to, maybe tone me down a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and thank all of our amazing patrons, starting with Bloodclaw, Heinrich Botha. Special thanks to Bloodclaw, Running Bear. Special thanks to Bloodclaw, Richard at the Nerd Life. Bloodclaw, Big Mac Danskull. Bloodclaw, Brian the Mini War Mutt. Bloodclaw, Big D at the Gamecraft Dragon. And also, by extension, Lady Dragon. Bloodclaw, Chief Live Gaming. Bloodclaw, Inquisitor Zane. Bloodclaw, Zack the Crimson Painter. Grey Hunter, Brother Roxas. Grey Hunter, Kaiju Shorts. Wolfguard, Kalo. Wolfguard, Commodore. And then, of course, we always thank the ever-present, ever-mysterious Wolf Lord, Anonymous. A massive, massive thanks to the ultimate Wolf Lord, Pics. And, of course, finally, another huge thanks for our very own Smash Captain, wielder of the Banhammer, our ultimate Wolflord Archer. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys do to support us and keep us, rocking along this hobby journey. Of course, that hobby journey may include lighting at some point soon. Oh, guys, can never be a smooth tech weekend, right? Boffnet, thank you so much for staying with us this whole time. Brother Ethan says, but I tuned in specifically for the salt. Don't worry, there will be plenty of salt next week, I guarantee. In fact, Lars has the right of it. Tau Overwatch, Dead Sea amounts of salt incoming. You right. You guys already know. Boffnet, my man, I know it is crazy late into the morning. You is probably getting close to sunrise over by you. So thank you so much for sticking with us this whole time. I'm so glad that you've joined us, man. Guys, you are all amazing. Thanks for hanging out with the Wolf Bro on a Friday. We really appreciate you guys so much. Got some pretty cool stuff coming up, guys. In addition to the videos I mentioned, I'm going to try and put out this week. So that is our giveaway video. It is possibly, like I said, I just want to double check before I release it, but a Wargamer sandwich video, an AdMic video, and I may be getting a little overzealous here. But on top of that, some other cool stuff. Again, I'll be painting up Primaris Apothecary for one of our patrons. A Vampire Lord for Strahd from Castle Ravenloft. So got some really cool stuff coming up this week. So I'm really hyped. This is going to be a great hobby week. And this hobby weekend, I plan on making a huge start. If I'm lucky, I want to knock out, if not one, maybe one at least, maybe even two of my Patreon projects, and then I'll make a good start on that apothecary, which is going to take a little more, in the way of assembly and getting that started. But I'm really looking forward to all these projects coming up this week. And on top of all those, since I got this guy knocked out during, halfway knocked out during the stream, I might find some time to finish him up too. Thank you guys so much for watching me as I painted him tonight. If you guys like this episode, make sure that you grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop us some comments down below, especially if you're watching from the archives, to jump in and be part of any of these ridiculous conversations. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, then Freakalicioso and I would love to have you as part of the pack, part of our hobby family here on the Frost and Fist. Until next time, guys, stay frosty. And I'm going to remember to do the outro this time, guys.